Malting features of barley grains have been discovered by University of Adelaide researchers. Craft brewers might benefit from the discovery of novel malts or more reliable brewing procedures, according to the researchers. Researchers have uncovered a novel connection between a critical enzyme in malt synthesis for brewing and a particular tissue layer in the barley grain, and their findings have been published in the Nature journal.
The major question today is how much these epigenetic modifications have an impact on future generations. To find out, Bars is comparing the father's sperm to the cord blood of their children. However, the discovery shows a method via which our activities, eating habits, and fitness might have an impact on our offspring. Which may lead you to think, what should I be eating? Bacteria enter the surgical site through incisions produced during surgery and cause surgical site infections. They put millions of lives at risk and contribute to the spread of antibiotic resistance. 11% of patients who have surgery in low- and middle-income nations end up infected.
If a doctor expects a treatment to be successful, a patient may experience less pain and have better outcomes, according to a new study. The findings reveal how social interactions between hypothetical healthcare providers and patients have the power to influence how patients perceive the effectiveness of a treatment, even when it is a placebo.
Many holidays in the United States are on Mondays. Most of the workers have a 3-day weekend. On summer holidays, friends and relatives get together and have a barbecue or picnic. Children usually run and play while the adults prepare the food and talk.
As a political term, welfare has a unique connotation in the United States since it refers to the method by which the poor are given financial help. Most European countries feel that all residents should be able to access some level of social assistance and well-being, which is why welfare services are seen as an absolute right in such countries.
What we found is that the plant is actually damaged by herbivores like most plants are in nature. and in response to that it secretes sugar from the wound edges where the herbivores have damaged the plant. Tobias Lortzing is a graduate student at Freie University Berlin and one of the study authors.
The Earth has experienced its warmest month ever recorded, and it's getting worse. The new high comes after a string of scorching months. For the 10th month in a row now, the month has been the warmest ever recorded by NASA, breaking the previous record set a year ago. Temperatures are calculated significantly differently by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. For Clemenson, the real question was whether Trump's assertion of question dodging was historically true or not. Since 1996 to 2012 there were 14 presidential debate transcripts reviewed by Clemenson. Democrats and Republicans both made allegations of question dodging, totaling 51 in all. B.F. Skinner paid a surprise visit to his daughter's arithmetic class in 1953. All of Harvard's students were found to be studying the same material at the same pace. A few days after that, he created his first teaching machine, which allowed students to tackle issues at their own pace. By the mid-1960s, door-to-door salesmen were peddling similar gadgets. However, interest in them waned after only a few years.
Fritz Zwicky created the word supernova in the 1930s, when he was a notable astrophysicist. Zwicky was born in Bulgaria and raised in Switzerland, but he arrived to the California Institute of Technology in the 1920s and quickly became known for his harsh nature and irregular skills. Many of his co-workers thought he was an annoying clown since he didn't appear to be particularly bright. It used to be pretty easy to learn English as a standalone topic in the past. Items of language were chosen, evaluated, and then practiced to proficiency using a context-based textbook. The introduction of new objects was carefully regulated so that the pupil was able to handle them without difficulty. All that has changed, however, is the employment of English as a medium of education. Texts that aim to communicate new and frequently challenging topics often use unfamiliar grammar and vocabulary.
At a young age, Charlie Chaplin and his younger brother Sidney were taken into an orphanage. In 1906, he joined Fred Karno's group as a vaudeville performer. This character's iconic, seedy and soft-hearted gentleman tramp routine debuted in Making a Living 1914, which marked the start of an illustrious cinema career. As a result of his ability to masterfully blend pathos with comic acrobatics in several films for various studios, Jack Nicholson became an international star.
Bushfires are not counted as part of a country's annual carbon dioxide emissions since they are considered to be phenomena that are beyond human control. More than 1 million acres have burned in the past 2 summers in the Australian state of Victoria alone, according to government estimates. Honeybee, other bee, and non-bee bug visits to 480 fields of 17 different crop kinds on 5 continents were studied by researchers from 18 nations. They discovered that the overall pollination services given by honeybees and non-bee insects were the same 38%, with other bees providing around a quarter of the services 23%. In organizations of merchant adventurers, who had long been used in carrying on trade with foreign nations, English pioneers in an excursion discovered an instrument for colonization. A company like this would be made up of numerous people from various social classes, such as noblemen, businessmen, and gentlemen. They banded together for a specific project.
In organizations of merchant adventurers, who had long been used in carrying on trade with foreign nations, English pioneers in an excursion discovered an instrument for colonization. A company like this would be made up of numerous people from various social classes, such as noblemen, businessmen, and gentlemen. They banded together for a specific project. Some individuals protest that in order for the eye to adapt and still be a useful tool to its owner, several changes would have had to have occurred concurrently. However, it is not required to infer this if the adjustments were exceedingly modest and gradual. Naturally selected tools limit the abilities of every non-human species on the planet. They can't even attempt to seek out the truth, instead, they only take in information and act in ways that help them survive. Evolution has mostly picked for the types of information they need from the rest of the world.
Researchers have, inspired by the efficient foraging behavior of a single-celled amoeba, developed an analog computer for finding a reliable and swift solution to the traveling salesman problem, a representative combinatorial optimization problem.